Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Facebook group or the Access Consciousness YouTube platform, whatever you call that. My name is Monica Gilliam, and today I have the great pleasure of having a conversation with you all about nature spirits. For those of you who have been joining us in the Earth Wizards Facebook group, all this past month, we've had different Talk to the Entities facilitators talk from their amazingly different perspectives about the nature spirits. And I get to kind of finish out this conversation or propel you into deeper conversations, however you want to look at it, today. So thank you so much for joining. And go ahead and relax. One thing that I really love to play with is the space of awareness that is available when you relax. When you have a lot of things going on in your head or your body, it's very easy to pay more attention to that than to anything else. And sometimes when we're working with our awareness, there are all of these subtle energies that we can be playing with that can be kind of drowned out by the loudness of the intensities that are in our lives. So allowing yourself to relax can allow you to be present with different energies than would be available if you just kept going in the monkey mind or the irritations in your body or whatever that is. So allow yourself to relax and to know that there are so many energies for you to be communicating with, playing with, aware of. And the ways that each of you are aware of them will be incredibly different. And so I have some agendas for what we can talk about today, and let's see where we go. But one thing, I just wanted to start with a quick little story. Maybe some of you have heard this before, maybe not. But years and years ago, a friend of mine told me about the spirits of the earth or the consciousness of the earth. And it sounded like this really fun kind of fairy tale thing that I wished were true, but I didn't know if it was true or not. And so she was showing me all of these things about different places where people have just like gone out and talked to the spirit of the land. And I didn't know if I could do that or if you needed to have some sort of training or what. And then this was a woman that I worked for at the time. And so after telling me all about the consciousness of the earth, she then told me, hey, would you go out and cut all of these plants back? And I thought, oh no, if they're like conscious, will that hurt? Is that okay? Am I going to mess it up? You know? So I went out and I just was like, all right. If everything is conscious and there's some awareness to how this garden is growing, can anything please assist me to know what to cut and what not to cut? And if there's something that would like to be cut to contribute to the health of the garden, I'll do it. And if not, let me know and I'll stop. And so with that kind of request for guidance, I just started cutting away. And every once in a while, my hands would just stop. And I would kind of look and investigate and see what was going on there. And there was, more often than not, something that I would have cut through if I had just gone for it. And when I say that my hands would stop, it wasn't like I couldn't, clip through whatever was there. It was just a little pause. And I just knew that I had asked for more information, so I would just investigate. And that truly set me off on a different path of like, wow, I asked for some assistance and I got it. And still, I wasn't sure, like, exactly who or what gave me the assistance. And I didn't really care. It was just fun to know that I could be in this dialogue with the living, growing world around me in these subtle ways, and that my body could pick up on the cues and I could just get to play. And so I started just to ask questions of the earth all the time, like a little kid. Like, what's that? What's the name of this? What's this bug doing? What, just like this exploration. And the more I did that, the more awareness I began to have. And from that, I began to cultivate a sense of a dialogue with the spirits of the earth. Now, some of you may have an idea about what a nature spirit is. Like it looks like a little thing. If you watched some of the other Hello Nature Spirits Facebook Lives that the different Talk to the Entities facilitators did, Amy Shine brought up, maybe some of you think that a fairy is just a cute little woman wearing a little dress with wings, some of the ideas that we got from Disney. But what if actually the consciousness of the earth and the presence that is here and available to dialogue with you goes far beyond anything that you've pictured? And simply beginning to talk to it all, to ask questions, is what can really open up the joy of creating with the world. So it doesn't matter if you're like, that was a nature spirit that told me that, or just, I had a sense of something and I investigated with that sense and I discovered even more. So I was talking to somebody earlier today, and she brought up this thing. We were talking about how I was going to be doing this conversation with the nature spirits, and she said that what came up for her with the nature spirits was like kind of what I mentioned before, like this sense that like, oh, that sounds nice, but that's not really true. I'm just fooling myself into the fantasy of benevolence. That this world can't really be so kind and nurturing, and that we've done so much wrong here. Why would it all want to contribute to us? So anywhere that any of you may have that point of view, would you just allow yourself to look at that? And everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. And that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. In case you don't know, if you have more questions, you can go to theclearingstatement.com. But basically, it's our way just to kind of knock that point of view out of all of the places where it's stuck in your world. So everywhere that you have the point of view that you've messed up and that people have messed up and that what we've been in and with the earth is so wrong that the earth couldn't possibly care about you or desire to contribute to you, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. So with this conversation of hello, nature spirits, I've been doing some talking, and now let's do some listening. So when you are desiring to engage with the world, if you just keep talking and having your mind running and trying to figure things out, you can kind of talk over everything that is desiring to respond to you. So there's this kind of practice of that I like to play with of starting to let myself ask a question and relax, and then see what comes up, see the response. And sometimes the response may not be for a month. Sometimes the response may not be for a year. Basically, the response gets through to you whenever it can. What if you could allow yourself to acknowledge everywhere that the world is responding to what you've been asking, whenever it does? Cool. So, all of the nature spirits, all of the spirits of the earth that have been ignored, bullied, uh, like pushed away, sent away, made wrong, vilified, all of that, everything that you know about that, would you destroy and uncreate any part that you play in that, any points of view that you have about that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. And let's ask the consciousness of the earth, the spirits of the earth, to speak to us, to sing to us in all of the different ways that it can. So you get to kind of like clean out your ears and just be like, all right. So I have a little friend here. Here, ooh, here's this orchid, so beautiful. And it has been singing to me in all of these different ways. Let's see, I'll just kind of put it here. But it has been speaking to me, singing to me, just delighting me for a while, ever since I got it, but then even more as it's unfolding. And so part of how I like to speak to the nature spirits and the consciousness of the earth is to admire it and to enjoy it. And that allows me to receive it and to gift to it. And any of the nature spirits that are contributing to this earth, but also to this orchid or whichever plant I may be talking to, I just like to say hello, hi, huh? Who are you? Are you here? What are you? And it's not always like knock, 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 I'm here and I am a thing that has a body, or there's a subtle sense of something. And what if you could play with that? Just saying hello and seeing what responds to your hello without needing it to look a certain way and without dismissing it if it doesn't look a certain way or sound a certain way. Can you allow the voice of the nature spirits and the spirits of the earth and all of the elementals here creating with us to turn up in your world? And everything that doesn't allow that, and everything that doesn't allow you to have ease and even laughter and joy with all of that, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Wow. I'm reminded of the Facebook Live that Monish did a few weeks ago, where the nature spirits were tickling him, and that joy that can kind of move us out of our stuckness or our insanity or our whatever it is, So what if your joy of receiving, joy of having ease can shift your entire being to harmonize with the song of the world? And everything that doesn't allow for that, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all night shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. All right, One thing that keeps on coming to my little noggin is for a while I like to talk to plants. I love to talk to the non-people world because it's doesn't have as many points of view, and I find that uh, it's easier for me to not have to try and understand everything and put it into words, but to have that kind of like back and forth play of awareness when I'm talking to something that's not people. And for a while, I was like, oh, I'm so excited that people are actually desiring to talk to the plants and to learn about that. And so I'm going to put a lot of my attention into that. And it was just kind of difficult, or there, I was like running into some walls. And so I thought, wait a minute, okay, I'm available for that. But what if I could just go as far and as fast as I can go? What if I could have the conversations that I'm capable of that I haven't even realized I'm capable of? What would that be like? And then I realized, oh, I can have conversations directly with the nature spirits already. I don't have to wait for anybody else to get involved. So for a while, I started to have very kind of formal meetings with the nature spirits. And I would just put aside a certain time. Sometimes I would invite somebody from different geographical locations on the earth to come and talk with me. I found that that was one way that I could talk to different nature spirits that have to do with the different regions of the earth. It's not necessary. You can just expand your awareness and talk to anybody, but that's one thing that I was doing. And so I would have these meetings with the nature spirits, and I just wanted to invite you all to that too. Um, and it really is this kind of like formless adventure. The way that it may show up for you may be like 2 seconds long, and the way that it may show up for you the next day may be an hour long. There really is no right or wrong about it, but just to invite you to have some meetings with the nature spirits. So let's do that now. All of the nature spirits that are desiring to be a part of this conversation and have been a part of this conversation, let's again say hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for talking to us, even when blah, 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 we've been ignoring you. Thank you for continuing to contribute to the vitality and beauty and strength and vigor of this world. What do we know? What do each of us who's here with these kind of people-ish bodies, what do we know that we have not been acknowledging, that the spirits of the earth can remind us and show us? And everything that doesn't allow for that, times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, pobads, and beyonds. Whew, makes me want to sweat. What do the spirits of the earth desire to tell each of us? And all of the points of view that we have that we're making louder than the spirits of the earth and what they actually have to say, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, pobads, and beyonds. I was, when I was much younger, I had this sense of like, it was just this image of like a big round table discussion where all of the experts in the different fields would come. So like the body would come for as the expert in all things related to the body, and the mind would come, and then something else about finances would come, and every time a question was asked of the body, the mind would be like, I got this, and would try to answer for the body. It's just a little image that I had that I realized was kind of like playing out in my life. When I would ask things of my body, I would listen to my mind, not my body. So with that, when you ask things of the nature spirits, anywhere you go to listen to your mind and not the nature spirits, would you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. And the trick here is when you don't believe that you can be aware, so you go to your mind to validate your awareness. So you start to try to talk to yourself in the language that you think you should speak, rather than allow the language of the entire universe to speak to you in whatever ways it speaks. So with all of the nature spirits, when you go to say, hello, what would you like to tell me? If you notice that your mind starts to be like a little computer, like beep, bop, boop, beep, just notice it and be like, shh, thank you, mind. Quiet, shh. We're not, thank you. We can talk in a moment. I'm having a conversation with these nature spirits. And let yourself laugh. Let yourself enjoy the silliness that shows up, or where you try and work really hard, something like that. When you allow yourself the joy of exploration and you allow it to have that laughter to it, there's like a movement to it that can unstick all of the stuck places. But when you get really intense and serious, you can kind of just like make those stuck places more solid. So laugh at yourself, play with the nature spirits, allow them to tell you jokes, allow you to tell the world jokes just by how you receive it. Cool. Let's see, what else? Yeah, thank you. Thank you in advance for any conversations that you may ever choose to have with the world around you. And okay, there's one little story that I want to tell you, and I think we may soon be kind of wrapping up. Let's see, let's move this a little bit. Okay, so years ago, I was in Austria in this little kind of mountain town, and I sat in this little square, and I was at a little cafe, and I was like, I wonder who's here. And right away, this like nature spirit kind of just like popped up in front of me, and I thought, that's fun. Maybe I'll write a little story about this nature spirit or whatever I'm picking up right now. And I went to pick up my pen. And in the time it took me to pick up my pen to begin to write, this nature spirit was like, hi, 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 hi. And it got super bored with me. And then I had this sense of it going around the entire square and going into everybody's bags. And then it went really far away, and it showed me how it kind of like disrupted some construction equipment. And then it came back, and then it left. And the whole time it was like this joyful thing. And it took the amount of time it took me to raise my pen. And it just showed me how funny it is that that we have been assuming that time is a static thing, that it moves in a certain way, and we have been orienting ourselves with time or within time in a certain measured way. And what if the world around you doesn't necessarily do that? Like talking to some trees, they may have a really different sense of the unfolding of time that is hundreds of years to our 80 years, or it may be much faster. So what if you can allow yourself to not only engage with the subtlety of awareness of the world, but to not require it to be any certain speed? Now, why am I saying this in particular? who knows? That's part of the adventure. You get to be equipped with as many tools as I can give you, and then you get to go in search of more tools and ask more questions and engage with the spirits of the earth and with your body and with plants and with animals and with whatever it is that calls to you. And as you discover anything, please let us know. You can write in the Earth Wizards group. You can send me messages. I'm very excited to get to be a part of this conversation with you all. And I'm very enormously grateful for the other Talk to the Entities facilitators who have been a part of this. And have fun. Thank you, nature spirits, for coming and talking to us. Thank you, Orchid. Dun, dun, dun. And thank you. I am so grateful for you all. All right. Goodbye.